Mehran Nasseri's mystery. Discover the enigma of the man captive in an airport for 18 years. Enter the mystery and fascination of the story of Mehran Nasseri, the man who transformed Charles de Gaulle International Airport into an unlikely home for nearly 2 decades. Starting in 1988, this Iranian refugee faced an unexpected destiny, living in an airport terminal, in a life episode that seems to be taken out of a novel. Imagine this vast waiting room, where thousands of people cross their paths every day, not knowing that in their midst is a man who has lost everything, but at the same time has found a new meaning in life. Trapped in complicated bureaucratic circumstances, Nasseri turned every day into an exercise in survival and adaptation. Through Nasseri's eyes, the airport terminal becomes a world in miniature, a microcosm with its own rules and rhythms. While most travelers are just passing through, for him, every corner of this space becomes familiar, every daily routine a ritual necessary for survival. This true story turns into a riveting odyssey, interweaving elements of drama, human resilience, and a deep inner struggle. Nasseri, with a limited baggage of material possessions but an endless wealth of experiences and reflections, becomes a symbol of the power of the human spirit. Discover the true face of life in an airport, beyond flights and destinations, through the extraordinary story of Mehran Nasseri. It is a story that blends reality with elements of fantasy, a testament to adaptation in the most unexpected conditions, and a testament to the human spirit that refuses to be defeated. They say life is like a waiting room, and Mehran Nasseri's incredible adventure perfectly illustrates this metaphor. No wonder he went crazy. If you had passed through Terminal 1 of Charles de Gaulle International Airport in Paris between August 26, 1988 and July 2006, you would have had a good chance of spotting Mehran Nasseri. If you thought the man was just one of the hundreds of passengers waiting to board, you'd be right, but only partially so. Nasseri's plan was to reach the UK, but due to European laws and the fact that he lacked some documents, the Iranian refugee was stuck in the terminal for 18 years. Mehran Nasseri was exiled by the Iranians. Born in Masjid Soliman, Iran, in 1943, Nasseri left for Britain in 1973 to study at the University of Bedford. While a student, the man participated in protests against Shah Reza Pahlavi, the last Shah of Iran. Nasseri stated that after completing his studies in 1977, he returned to Iran. As soon as he returned to the country, he was imprisoned and then exiled for anti-government activities. Driven out of the country, Nasseri requested political asylum. But, over the course of 4 years, several European countries refused him asylum in turn. Finally, in 1981, the UN High Commissioner for Refugees granted him official political refugee status. This status allowed Nasseri to apply for citizenship of a European country. After spending 5 years in Belgium, the man decided in 1986 to settle in Britain, claiming that his mother was English. However, many adventures awaited him. In 1988, he left for Paris, from where he boarded a plane bound for London. At this point, Nasseri's story, much of his documented history, becomes unclear. In the absence of documents, the British do not receive it. Upon arrival at Heathrow Airport, in the capital of Great Britain, the border police decided to deny him entry into the country because he did not have the documents attesting to his refugee status. The Iranian claimed that the suitcase in which he kept his documents was stolen from him on a train in Paris. In vain, he was sent back to France. Upon his return to French soil, Nasseri was arrested. However, his re-entry into the country was legal, so he was released but prohibited from leaving the airport. Without documents and a country of origin to return to, Nasseri began his long stay in Terminal 1 of Charles de Gaulle International Airport. The stay extended from days to weeks, and then to years. With his baggage behind him, the man spent his time reading, studying economics, and chronicling his experiences in a huge journal that grew to over 1,000 pages. What is everyday life like in an airport? Nasseri often ate at McDonald's and rolled his own cigarettes. Airport employees came to regard him as a kind of terminal emblem and regularly brought him newspapers and food. Maintaining a groomed appearance, Nasseri washed in the men's bathroom and sent his clothes to the dry cleaners. Meanwhile, his plight became known internationally, and journalists from all over the world came to interview him. Ordinary people sent him letters of encouragement. In one of them, an American wrote, "Please tell him that we hope he has a safe, comfortable, and happy future. Sincerely, a concerned American citizen." Also attached to the letter was a check for $100, which Dr. Philippe Barguin, head of the airport's medical team, cashed on Nasseri's behalf. The man's unusual situation attracted the attention of the French lawyer Christian Bourget, specialized in human rights, who decided to represent him. If the Belgian authorities could be persuaded to release new documents, Nasseri could have an identity again. Nasseri finally gets his papers. But Belgium could issue these documents only if Nasseri appeared in person before the authorities. Thus a paradox was reached. The man could not travel to collect his documents because he had no documents. Finally, in 1999, the Belgian government agreed to send the documents by post, and the French authorities issued him a residence permit. But Dr. Barguin reported that Nasseri was not happy. He thought the documents were fake. So, he refused to sign them. Nasseri claimed loudly that in 1981, when he was at Heathrow Airport, he had been issued documents in the name of Sir Alfred Mehran and that he had British nationality. The name on the papers he received in 1999 from the Belgians was his real name, Mehran Nasseri, and the nationality on the papers was Iranian. Dr. Barguin, present at the discussion between the Iranian and lawyer Bourget, reported that the latter almost choked with surprise that the 10 years he had spent trying to resolve the situation had been wasted. So Mehran Nasseri, or Sir Alfred Mehran, stayed in Terminal 1. The 18 years have their say. Nasseri's mind takes flight. It seemed that Nasseri's judgment was impaired after so many years of living in the airport. In a 2003 interview, lawyer Bourget said the man had probably gone mad. Bourget said Nasseri was quite lucid when telling his story, but as time went on he became illogical and the details were always different. Once, Nasseri claimed to be Swedish, and Bourget asked him how he got from Sweden to Iran. With the submarine. Nasseri answered. In 2006, the man was hospitalized for an undisclosed condition and his stay at Charles de Gaulle Airport ended. Local media reported that he was discharged from hospital in 2007 and checked into a hotel near the airport. He was not allowed to fly to London, but was granted freedom in France. In 2008, he was living in a shelter in the suburbs of Paris, and his story became the inspiration for the film The Terminal, directed by Steven Spielberg.